Hello and welcome back to another week in the NFL of NFL predictions. With me today, I have my dad and Kevin, and I'm Ben. And let's just talk about the Thursday night game. Me and Kevin got the pleasure to call it, and it was not the funnest game. It was an okay game. It wasn't the funnest game to call. Obviously, it was still very fun to call a game, but at the same time, we did not see much by the two offenses. The defenses, especially the Broncos defense, played amazing. And, we had a 10-7 win by the Broncos. But, Kevin, what are your thoughts on just last night's game?
Yeah, defensive battle. Not too much offense at all. We didn't see anything. And there was a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
We saw some calls that resulted in touchdowns getting taken away. And, it was just like an overall boring game, but we got through it, and that's it.
Yeah, but anyway, wait, Dad, do you just have any thoughts about the game? I know you didn't watch it.
I didn't get to see it, but I listened to you guys, and it did seem kind of boring. I will say that we all predicted Denver to win. We all predicted them to put up a hell of a lot more points than they did. So, it's a low note to start the week. What can you say?
All right, but anyway, let's get to, and this should be a good game. We got a Sunday at 9:30 game, and these are actually two solid teams. We got the Falcons as they take on the Colts. This should be a good game. Colts coming off their second loss of the season. It was a rough loss against the Steelers. The 27-20 final score does not show you how bad the Colts played in this game, but the Colts are looking to bounce back in this one against the Falcons. The Falcons coming off a close loss to the Patriots. It was a 1-point game. They almost tied it, but they missed the extra point. And even though the Falcons got the ball back, the Patriots were able to hold them off to a 24-23 win. So both teams coming off losses. Both teams are hungry. However, even after in the addition of getting Sauce Gardner, just throughout the season, the Colts have just been playing amazing football. Yes, they had a bad game against the Steelers, but bad game they had against the Steelers, I don't see them having against a team like the Falcons, especially against a defense like the Falcons. And I think the Falcons may play them tough, but I think the Colts are going to pull ahead, and it's a 9:30 game, so it's not going to be as exciting, and more dominant by the Colts. But I think the Colts go on to get this one done. 38, bouncing back from a rough game last week, winning at 38-21 over the Falcons. Colts win.
This is the Germany game, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I think this has the makeup to be a really good game. Indy obviously finally lost last week, right?
Yes,
right?
to the Steelers.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Even though they're good, and now they have Sauce. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So first game with his new team, he gets to go to Germany. That's exciting. I think this game has potentially a lot of excitement could happen, and I think it's going to be I'm hoping it's going to be a fun one, because it's always extra fun when you can start your day at 9:30 with a offensive explosion. I think Indy is going to be the better team here because they are the better team. Yep. And they've only gotten better by adding Gardner to their defense. I'm going to go Colts 28, Atlanta 24 in a close one.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about this matchup. The Falcons do have a pretty solid defense, so I could see the Colts struggling early on. But, I think this is just going to be too easy for the Colts. They're going to bounce back with a win this week. I'm taking the Colts 34-17 on the Germany 9:30 a.m. game.
But next up, on to our 1 o'clock games, and we're in for probably our trash game of the week. We got the Browns taking on the Jets, somehow has one win Jets, though they did lose again this past week in the bye week, losing Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, etc. And, they're the Jets. What to expect? The Jets don't have a shot in this game. I don't know how they were able to win in that game over the Bengals, but yeah, they're not going to be able to do it against this Browns defense. I think this Browns defense is going to be very aggressive, give Justin Fields a hard time, especially after losing great players on the defense, the Jets defense, and Jets defense needing to figure out how to adjust from that. I think, yeah, the Browns may even score some points in this game, but it's going to be an ugly game for the Jets. It's going to be a boring game. I think the Browns take it. I'm going to say 26-3. Browns.
I agree. I think the Jets, they traded everything away. Yes, they got a lot of exciting picks in the future, so who knows? Maybe they'll screw it up.
I'm sure they will.
Sure they will, exactly, yeah. But yeah, I see Cleveland in this game. Their defense is too good, and their offense doesn't have much to say. But you're right. Now the Jets don't have Gardner, but they weren't operating very well anyways. So I'm going to go Cleveland on the road, taking care of the Jets, and not a very exciting game, 13-3.
Yeah, in our toilet bowl of the year game,
Yeah.
I'm taking the Browns 20-10. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. We might see a few points because the Jets obviously lost some pieces on their defense. So maybe Quinshon Judkins has a big game in here. So yeah, 20-10, Browns win.
But next up, we're on to a game. Should be a little better. We got the Saints, who are the Saints. They continue to be the Saints. As they take on the Panthers. The Panthers, after having a rough loss to the Bills, getting a huge win over the Packers in a 16-13 ugly game by both teams, both offenses. But Panthers somehow got it done over the previously number 1 seed in the NFC Packers. And yeah, this... Do we call upset in this game? I don't know. The Saints, they're just not playing good football right now. Shaheed's gone as well. That's not going to help. But anyway, the Panthers just beat the Packers. Yeah, maybe the Panthers got lucky. But the Panthers have gotten some pretty good wins this season. And, yeah, I think this should be an easy win for the Panthers. And actually, I feel like the Panthers could put up some points here or just make it look ugly for the Saints. I think the Panthers are going to take it. I'm going to say Panthers 30 to the Saints 9.
I think New Orleans is in tank mode probably at this point. Unless somehow this Tyler Shuck guy ends up being something more than we all expect. Shaheed gone is obviously a big blow. They still have Olave. And we'll see what happens. But I agree. Carolina is a gritty team that's finding ways to win. And I think they do that without any issues over the Saints, especially at home. 24-10. Carolina.
Yeah, I think this is going to be maybe a tough game for Carolina to start out with. I think I could see them struggling. Some days they're on and off. I could see a potential upset here, but I trust Bryce Young more than Tyler Shuck. So give me the Panthers 24-17. And a somewhat entertaining game. I think this one could show a little bit of potential just because it's a rivalry matchup.
But next up we got, and this could be the game of the week, we got the Tom Brady Bowl as we have the New England Patriots as they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this should be a game. Dad, what were you saying?
I just saying I like that Tom Brady Bowl. That's cool. That's right.
Yeah, so
Love it.
Tom Brady,
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's not attending this game because it's on CBS. But anyway, yeah, this should be a good game, and I think it's gonna be whatever team is able to play better football that day shows up and plays better football, and I think it's gonna come down to the end in this one, but it's going to be whatever team's able to pull away. I could possibly see this being a tied game and a game-winning field goal by either of these teams, but what I see happening is I think the Patriots are able to take more control of this game as the game goes on. Buccaneers keep it close, but I think the Patriots get a big win in this one. Drake May goes off once again as the Patriots win 34-23 in probably the best win so far this season by the Patriots, or besides the Bills game, but yeah, a great win by the Patriots. Yeah, probably actually the best win of this season by the Patriots.
44-23, you said, right?
34-23.
34. I'm glad I asked. 34-23. Okay, cool. Man, yeah, I think this has the potential to be one of the better games of the week, and I'm excited for it. I just looked. Unfortunately, it's not on in our market because both the Giants and the Jets have 1 o'clock games. Oh, well. But I think, it's a tough one because the Pats are going to be on the road, but I'm a Pats fan, and they're obviously playing awesome. And Tampa Bay is riddled with injuries. So I'm going to go New England. And Benny, here it comes, 35-24.
Yeah, this is a battle between the arguably two MVP favorites between Drake May and Baker Mayfield. I think this one's gonna come down to the wire, and I'm taking Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, 27-24. Buccaneers win.
Disappointed, Kevin. But anyway, we're on to our next game. This should be another good game. We got the Vikings coming off a big win against the Lions. J.J. McCarthy, a great game by him, taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Yeah, the Ravens, obviously they had a rough start of the season, but with Lamar back, they are 100% back into this. They're 3-5, and only 2 games behind the Steelers in the division, and they're a threat to still win the division. And yeah, I think we're going to see a good game by both these teams, possibly an offensive explosion. And I do think at the end of the day, the team that's going to be able to get it done is the better team that has done a better job over the years being able to win close games and take control of the game as the game goes on. And I think it's going to be a doozy, a great game as we see the Ravens, and I believe I predicted the same exact score last time these guys played a few years back, but I think we could see basically the same exact game. I think the Ravens win it in a shootout, 34-31, in a game-winning field goal.
That would be exciting. I think this has the potential to be another wonderful game. Both good teams, rebounding, or at least Baltimore. Obviously, they kind of started out not so great, and they seem like they're getting their act together. I'm gonna go on a limb and say they continue, even on the road, because I think Lamar Jackson is the reason why he has 2 MVPs. I'm gonna go Baltimore, and I agree. It's gonna be some points, and it's gonna be a fun one to watch. 37-34.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Ravens got this one. I think the Ravens are going to start going on a heater here. I think they're getting hot. With 2 straight wins and Lamar Jackson back and healthy, I think they got this one in the bag. I think it will be a closer game, but I'm going to take the Ravens 27-21.
All right, and on to our next game. This game, I'm sure, I don't know how, but it always winds up close for some reason. We got the Bills. We got the Dolphins. And, Bills, Dolphins, this should be... Yeah, the Dolphins always find a way, as I was just saying, to play the Bills tough. And, the Dolphins have had a terrible season, but somehow they have a great game against the Falcons. Dolphins are a hard team to explain, but at the end of the day, the Bills are the better team here. I think the Dolphins are going to give them a fight, but at the end of the day, the Bills are going to be able to pull away, have a great fourth quarter, and win this one 35-21.
Yeah, I think the Bills proved to all of us that they are a great team. I mean, it's been well defined, but they just cemented it. But you beating Kansas City during the regular season seems to be their thing. Can they do it during the playoffs? We'll see. I'm rooting for them too, but until they do, that's going to be a big monkey to get off their back. I don't think they're going to have a problem with Miami, even on the road. I think Buffalo takes care of them without much of an issue at all. I'm going to go Buffalo 31, Miami 13.
I'm going to take the Bills in this one on the road. I'm going to say 38-17. I think Josh Allen and that offense, they're going to click. And after beating the Chiefs a week ago, the Dolphins are going to be easy money, and they're going to take care of them.
Now on to our next game. We have the New York Giants as they take on the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they were able to hold on and get that win over the Bengals, but the Bengals played them tough, and At the end of the day, the Bengals defense handed them that win. But yeah, the Bears now take on the Giants. Giants, yeah, they've been struggling a bit more as of late the last 2 weeks after having a great few weeks. But Jackson Dart, yeah, they lost Scatterboo, but yeah, Jackson Dart's gonna give the Bears a run for its money, and I think the Giants are gonna play them tough, but I do feel like the Bears are gonna be able to hold on. It's gonna be a close one. Not as high scoring, but I think the Bears are able to pull ahead at the end to get the win 23-19. And I think the Giants are going to have control of most of this game. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears have turned out to be kind of exciting. I have to say, and obviously the Giants have their moments, especially with the new quarterback who's doing well, Dart. But I think Chicago should be able to take care of them pretty easily at home without much of an issue. I'm going to go, although I hate picking the Bears, you know that, Benny, but I still will. I'm going to go Chicago 17, Giants 10.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bears in this one, 31-21. For an easy win for Caleb Williams. That offense was just going insane last week with Colston Loveland hitting the game-winning touchdown. And yeah, I think it's going to be easy for them.
That reminds me, I want to ask both of you guys what you think. Who's the worst defense, Bengals or Cowboys, Kevin?
I'm going to say the Bengals.
Dad?
That's a tough one. I want to say the Cowboys, but I think I'm going to say the Bengals.
Yeah, based on how they've played all season, Bengals had a few good players on defense, but like in that Steelers game, and I would say Bengals. No, I would say Cowboys, but then, yeah, this week when Quinn Williams now on the Bengals helps that on the Cowboys. Lose my track of words here. On the Cowboys now, I think that's going to help that defense a bit. So, and the Bengals just put up 42 and lost. It just shows you how bad that defense is. Yeah, Bengals are the worst defense. But anyway, we're on to our next game as we got the Jaguars, which take on the Houston Texans. And, this should be another good division game. However, C.J. Stroud, I don't know what the latest is on C.J. Stroud, but anyway, I do feel like the Jaguars are going to have the advantage in this game. Jaguars have been playing pretty good as of late, and I think they're going to be able to find a way to get it done. I think the Texans do play them tough, but the Jags are going to take it. And I think they pull away and take it 26-16 over the Texans.
Yeah, Houston's found a way to play a bunch of teams tough, and they've had some. They've been playing some surprising football. I have to say, I'm impressed. But I think Jacksonville's too good this year, and they're playing some really good football, and I think they take care of Houston. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think they get it done 24-18.
Yeah, no C.J. Stroud in this game. He's out with a concussion. And I think it's going to be a rough one for the Texans. I think they're not going to be able to score. Davis Mills obviously stepping in for C.J. Stroud. And he's going to struggle too, I feel like, against the Jaguars defense, who's not that bad. They're pretty solid. And yeah, I'm going to say this is a low-scoring game. I'm going to take the Jaguars 21-16.
All right, and now on to our 4 o'clock games. We got the Cardinals. 2 teams coming off a great win. Great wins. The Cardinals just made the Cowboys look pretty bad on Monday Night Football. A rough loss for the Cowboys as they take on the Seahawks, who decimated the Commanders. Jaden Daniels showing small hints of his former self last season, and then the Commanders, Dan Campbell was drunk or something. Dan Quinn was drunk or something, and decided to leave Jaden Daniels in the game, and now he's probably out for most, if not the rest of the season. But anyway, Commanders, screw themselves up basically. But anyway, Seahawks, at that point it was 38-7, and Seahawks have. people probably underrating the Seahawks. This Seahawks team has put up amazing performances, and they've beat some good teams. And the Seahawks team's not, the Seahawks team's not a team to joke around with. Like, they actually have a chance to make it far, and I think the Seahawks are going to continue this streak that they're on to go 7-2, getting another big win. I think they get it done 34-10 over the Cardinals.
Man, the Cardinals look a lot better with Jacoby Brissett than they did with Kyler Murray. I'll say that. They got a much more powerful offense that runs really well with that guy, obviously the former Patriot.
Yeah.
But that said, Seattle is one of the best teams in the league this year, and they proved it week after week, and they're going to take care of Arizona. Arizona plays them tough, but I like Seattle here. 32-21.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty easy for the Seahawks. You know, JSN is having the best season of his career, almost 1,000 receiving yards, and I think that Seahawks offense is so good with Sam Darnold in place at quarterback. He just manages the game so well, does everything he's asked to do, and I think this is gonna be a pretty good NFC West matchup in this game. I think it's going to be pretty competitive at first, but I think the Seahawks will pull away later, and this is going to be a 31-21 victory for the Seattle Seahawks.
And then now on to another game that was circled in the beginning of the season and probably up to last week, but now who knows what's going to happen. We got the Lions, we got the Commanders, the Jaden Daniels Commanders. Last year, these teams took on each other in the playoffs, and it was a doozy. A 31-21 game at halftime, and the Commanders continue to take control in the second half. Probably, but this may have been the biggest upset of the year, especially in the playoffs this past last year. But this time, the Commanders, they don't even have Jaden Daniels. They're a shell of their former self last season, as I was saying before. The Lions, of course, not as good as they were last season. They just lost to the Vikings, but they're still right now a lot better than the Commanders, and they're going to be coming into this game wanting revenge from that playoff game a year ago, and I think the Lions come in here playing hard and wanting this win, and I think they go off getting a big win, 37-14 over the Commanders.
Yeah, I agree. Poor Washington. I mean, it reminds me of when they had RG3.
Yeah, I knew that would happen. I just knew he would be a bust.
Jaden Daniels really seems like he could be the next Lamar Jackson.
Not anymore.
Hopefully he'll bounce back, and next season he'll be what we saw last year. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him this year. Detroit's still one of the top teams, obviously. Their record's not showing it at 5-3, but I don't think they're going to have much of a problem with this beat-up Washington team. They got, who's the quarterback? The guy from Tennessee?
You got Marcus Mariota, yeah.
Marcus Mariota, who has proved himself serviceable in replace of Daniels, but still, no McLaurin still. The running back situation in Washington isn't so great. Detroit is an all-powerful offense. They're going to continue to roll without much of an issue. 42-24. Detroit takes it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to take... I mean, if the Commanders gave up 38 points to the Seahawks, the Lions' offense is probably going to score double. So I'm gonna say the Lions score 52 points here, and I think the Lions are going to win 52-10.
Yeah, Lions, they already did that, I think, once or maybe even twice this season. They do that often, though. But anyway, we're on to our last 4 o'clock game that, a rematch of a game, the first game me and Kevin called together, as we got the Rams and the 49ers. This game's going to be, whenever these two play, it's always a good game, even when one team's great and one team's terrible. And 49ers, yeah, they're not looking amazing right now, but you gotta believe me, they're gonna play the Rams tough in this one, and I think this is one game that's gonna be fought down right to the end. I do think we see some points as well, especially with the Niners defense being banged up and missing a lot of players, but at the same time, they still have a solid, great defense. And I think it's gonna be the Niners They're good. They can beat the Rams, and I think they get it done in a close one. And I think it's going to be a game-winning field goal for the 49ers as they take it 23-20 over the Rams.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they played each other in a obviously divisional matchup in Week 5, and San Francisco came out on top on the road. This should be another exciting game. That game, the Niners won 26-23. I'm going to go just the opposite. I think the Rams are going to come. Oh, wait, do they have Puka? Is he back?
He is back.
He's back. Oh, yeah. I'm going Rams over the 49ers on the road, 26-23.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a win for the Rams. Me and Ben called their last matchup. That was a great game. That went into overtime, and the 49ers ended up kicking a field goal that ended up winning them the game. And I think this is going to be a Rams win on the road. I think they're going to split the series. And, yeah, give me the Rams 34-24 on a road win.
All right, and now on to our Sunday night game. This one should be a good one. We got Rodgers and the Steelers as they take on Herbert and the Chargers. Steelers 5-3. Chargers are 6-3. And yeah, this should be a good one, and possibly maybe even some offense in this one as well. But I think it's gonna be the Chargers. Something's telling me the Chargers are going to find a way to get it done. I also could very well see the Steelers getting it done, but something tells me the Chargers are going to be able to get this win. And I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Chargers hold on and get it done 27-19 on Sunday Night Football.
I agree. I think this is going to be a fun matchup to watch. I'm glad it's on in prime time on Sunday. It should be a fun game. I'm going to go with the home team again. I think Justin Herbert's playing really well. He's got a lot of weapons. And Pittsburgh's one of those teams that, they win an exciting one and then they lose a close one. And, they're always in the mix. But I think this week the Chargers take care of this one without much. I think it's close, but I think the Chargers win it without much of a hassle. I'm going to go Chargers 29 to Pittsburgh 23.
This is my upset of the week. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers in prime time. I think TJ Watt's going to have a superhuman game. He's going up against a JV offensive line.
Yeah.
The Chargers offensive line is so banged up. I saw that their Joe Alt, who was one of the best tackles in the NFL, one of their top picks, he's out. Rashad Slater, who was injured coming into the season. So their offensive line is so banged up in this one, and I think T.J. Watt and that defensive line for the Steelers are going to feast in this matchup. So I'm going to take them 28-24, and Aaron Rodgers leads his team to a win in primetime on the road.
All right, but now on to our Monday night game, and this could be the game of the week, though. As you'll see in a second, I don't think it will. As we got the Eagles, they take on the Packers, and both these teams, two top teams in the NFC, but at the same time, Eagles, yeah, we don't know what's going on with the Eagles right now. They've looked a little better the last few weeks, but who knows what's going to happen. Then we got the Packers, who they beat the Steelers, but then they just lost to the Panthers. So I think in this game, however, we're in for a defensive, boring game for basically the whole game, and I think the Eagles are able to pull ahead to get started, and it's actually going to be close to the end, 14-0, but Packers get field goals, and I think they get field goals, and then I think they take a 16-14 lead, but I think the Eagles are able to get in position, and they're going to win. It's going to be a slow game till the fourth quarter when the Packers get the touchdown to take the lead, but I think the Eagles still hold on and get it done 17-16. It'll wind up being a close game, but it's going to be a slow game, I think.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I love games in Lambeau. And I'm going to go with the home team here. I think the Packers are pissed coming off their loss to the Panthers. And I think they find a way to beat the Eagles at home. 23-17.
I think this is going to be a pretty easy win for the Eagles. I think arguably the Packers are the most overrated team in the NFL. They've lost to the Panthers. They've lost to the Browns. They've had some close matchups that, are questionable. But, yeah, I think this is going to be easy for the Eagles. On the road, in Lambeau, I don't think it matters. I think the Eagles are going to win this one 33-20.
All right, that will do it for the NFL, but we're going to take a look. Let's start off with in football as they take on Keene. And, Dad, what's your prediction for this game?
Is it still regular season for them?
This is the final regular season game.
Okay.
Actually, I apologize. They don't take on Keene. They take on Vermont State Castleton.
What's the name of the school?
Vermont State Castleton.
Are they from Vermont?
I don't think they are, but yeah.
Well, I'm going Profs all the way, obviously. Profs destroy them 33-2.
Okay. Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, give me the Profs 38-15. I don't even think that's possible. Wait, 38-16.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game and a good game for the Profs. And I think they pull away. Profs, based on what I've heard, they're a better team. Maybe Vermont gets a touchdown. I don't even know if they get that. But I think it's going to be a big win for the Profs to end off the season 41-7. And yeah, so finally, let's take a look at Somers. They're still in the playoffs. They take on the Harrison Huskies. I called this game last year. I had the pleasure. And it was probably the most entertainingest game I called, as it was a close game. It was 6-6 late in the fourth quarter. We got a pull ahead touchdown, and then the Somers defense forced the fumble to be able to get the win as time expired, holding Harrison off. Harrison came into that game hungry, and then we beat them in the regular season that year 40-3. Somers destroyed them in the regular season this season as well. And I think Harrison's going to come in this game playing tough. Yeah, they got a lot of the same players they did last season. And, yeah, I think we see a similar defensive battle. However, Somers, again, did lose a lot of defensive players from last year. And I think that's going to show here as we do see some more points late in this one. But I think we're still able to hold on. We're going to be tied at 13. Somers, again, gets the go-ahead touchdown. And then the defense is going to struggle, but the offense is going to make a mistake and cost them the game. And I think Somers holds on, as they usually do, 20-13. I'm dead.
I'm going Somers without much of an issue because I like Somers. I think they're good, and I think they're going to win because they are good. I'm going Somers 24-10.
I'm going Somers 29-20, and yeah.
All right, but yeah, that will do it. NASCAR season is over. Let's just say Kyle Larson, he's the champ. Let's go. But yeah. You know what? Yeah, we got. Let's just look ahead to next season. Who you guys think is gonna win the NASCAR championship? Dad, who you got? And Allmendinger's not a full-time driver.
Allmendinger.
He's not a full-time driver, so he can't win the championship.
Oh, maybe he'll change that.
Okay, you're going with that.
All right, I'm going with that.
All right, Kevin.
Chase Elliott.
I'm gonna go with Denny Hamlin. Of course, never gonna win a championship, so he's out. But yeah, I think Byron, it's gonna be his time, or Bell, but I'm gonna go Byron. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this week. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Peace.